What do you think about this, bro?
Adventure transforms you, for wherever you go becomes a part of you. Nowhere is that more true than in the Smokies. In our last two videos, we showed the entertainment of the Smokies before we head to the North Carolina side of the mountains. This week, in the fourth video of our 5-part video series of the Smokies, it's the nature of the Tennessee side that will put on the show. But nature is not only to be seen, it's to be fully experienced. Try tubing on a clear mountain stream of the Little River. Maybe get a little wet on the whitewater rapids of the Pigeon River.
All clear, Mike.
Feel the fresh mountain air as you fly through the treetops of a lush forest in Pigeon Forge. Take a dip in a mountain swimming hole in Townsend on a raft named Gerald.
There's a new member to the Smoky Mtn Family.
Gerald!
Touch and feed the animals at the Smoky Mtn Deer Farm. Try climbing to the highest point of the Smokies at Clingmans Dome. Maybe walk the Appalachian Trail. We take you on both drive-through nature trails. First, Cades Cove, where we explore by UTV, by bike, and by horse. Then Roaring Fork Nature Trail to see Gatlinburg's early dwellings. We'll take you on a couple of hiking trails. The most beautiful beer garden in Sevierville. Explore the quaint Wares Valley, where you can get the best views on the Hawk chairlift. We'll give you many helpful tips and info for your Smoky Mtn getaway, including showing 4 different RV campgrounds with cabins. And at the end, a candid conversation.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words about how that feels inside.
So, what are you waiting for? Join us in collaboration with the Smoky Mtn Family. Show the nature of the Smokies in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Wares Valley, Townsend, Hartford, and Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Chickanahay. Blue smoke lies over Gatlinburg this morning. We begin at Rocky Top Adventure Rentals, which has a wide variety of UTVs and Jeeps.
Tampa Aerial Media and Smoky Mtn Family, ready for a day of fun! Ah!
This Can-Am Defender 6-seater costs about $514 for the day, which is for 10 hours. Probably seats 5 comfortably. We are heading to Cades Cove. As we leave Gatlinburg, on the right is the Gatlinburg Trail, which is 1.9 miles one way from the city limits of Gatlinburg to the Sugarlands Visitor Center. It is one of 2 pet-friendly trails in the Smoky Mtn National Park. The other one is in Cherokee that we'll see in our next video. It travels along the west prong of the Little Pigeon River. It connects to a little trail that leads to Cataract Falls. Cades Cove is a good hour's drive west of Gatlinburg, 27 miles. It is a very scenic drive running along the Little River, jumping back and forth to both sides of the river. There are several places we'll stop on our return trip, like the Sinks and the Townsend Wye, as well as Meigs Falls. But we want to get to Cades Cove early for the horse rides. At Cades Cove, you can rent bikes that are $15 per hour for adults or $10 for children. There's a little snack bar and deli inside the Cades Cove camp store where you can buy hot dogs, burgers, wraps, coffee, bagels.
Supposedly what they're known for here, cinnamon pecans and ice cream. Hey, look.
The cinnamon pecans were delicious, about $6.50. There's an hour-long horse ride available from March through November and are $40 for adults, $35 for children 6 through 12. Minimum age is 6 years old, and you must be at least 4 feet in height.
Hey, Hey.
They don't take reservations. It's done on a first-come, first-served basis. They also have carriage rides that are about 30 to 45 minutes long. That is $22 for adults, $15 for children ages 2 through 12. And also hay rides 3 to 4 times a day that are $20 for adults and $15 for children 2 through 12. Thanks to Brittany for staying back with Bella while we all went out on the horse ride.
Because she's annoying. You are a grumpy old grandma.
Hey, y'all gonna be talking about my horse like that.
Well, it bit her butt.
Oh, Bill, no.
Now back in the UTV to do the Cades Cove loop. You'll want to pick up a self-guiding tour booklet at the entrance to the loop. It gives the info of the places of interest. The full loop is 11 miles, and by car you want to allow about 2 to 4 hours during the summer and fall. There are also 2 cut-off roads through the middle of the loop if you don't want to do the full 11 miles. You'll often see bears, so expect traffic to be stopping and taking pictures. There's also wild horses. You can also bike the loop. From May through September, the loop is closed for bicycle traffic on Wednesdays. It used to be just in the morning that they would close the loop, but now it's closed all day on Wednesdays. Pets are allowed in cars and along the roadside in Cades Cove, but not permitted in the fields or inside any historic structures. Scattered along the loop are 3 churches, a working grist mill, barns, log houses, and many other structures from the 18th and 19th centuries. Located halfway around the loop is the Cable Mill Historic Area, where there's restrooms and a bookstore. And before we leave, a bear says thank you for visiting. Now on our way back towards Gatlinburg, I want to show you 4 places of interest.
So we're at the Townsend Wye. So it's a popular swimming spot over here. Water kind of tames down just upriver here, and people go lay out, and everybody goes out and swims and everything.
This is about a mile from the KOA and 2.5 miles from River Rat tubing that we will show you both later in the video. Also note, while there is no entrance fee to the national park, there is now a parking pass that you need if you are parking for longer than 15 minutes. It is $5 a day or $15 for the week, which you can pick up at any visitor center. Next is Meigs Falls. You can see Lower Meigs Falls from the road, but the hike to Upper Meigs Falls is about a 3.5 mile round trip. In a mile east of Meigs Falls, 11 miles west of the Sugarlands Visitor Center, is the Sinks, another popular swimming hole. It is named so because of the swirling of water below a 15-foot cascade. Looks like water draining from a sink. There is also a cliff for diving into the water. The Meigs Creek Trail begins here, a 7-mile trail, considered moderately difficult. 2 miles east of the Sinks, 10 miles west of Sugarlands Visitor Center, is Metcalf Bottoms Picnic Area, located along the river. This has a large parking area. We now go to the highest point in the Smokies, heading south on Newfound Gap Road. On the right is the Chimney Tops Trailhead, a 3.3 mile round-trip trail. This was where the 2016 fires started. The first mile, there are 3 bridges over streams. Then it ascends up the side of the mountain, climbing 1,400 feet, considered strenuous, but offers great views of Mount LeConte. This footage from the Smoky Mtn Family. And on the left, the AlumCave Trl, a 5-mile round-trip trail to AlumCave Bluffs that climbs about 1,200 feet. It crosses the Walker Camp Prong and AlumCave Creek on log bridges, hiking through hardwood forests. At 1.1 mile, there's the narrow tunnel of Arch Rock. At 2 miles is Inspiration Point. Again, footage from the Smoky Mtn Family. They did this in the fall. So gorgeous. Gee. I might just have to come back up here when we do Knoxville in the fall and do a fall colors video. You can also continue on the AlumCave Bluffs Trail for another 2.5 miles that reaches the summit of Mount LeConte. That makes for an 11-mile round trip, climbing 2,700 feet. Now back on Newfound Gap Road. Near the summit at Newfound Gap, just a little bit into North Carolina, we take the road to Clingmans Dome, which is 7 miles off of Newfound Gap Road. This road is only open from April through November. A view of the North Carolina side of the mountains. Clingmans Dome is actually located on the state line, so half of it is in North Carolina and the other half in Tennessee. The road ends at a large parking area where the trailhead to the dome is at. There's a visitor center and restrooms here. Pets are not allowed on the trail. This trail to the observation tower is only a half of a mile and is paved, but is fairly steep, so isn't considered ADA accessible. At 6,643 feet, this is the highest point in Tennessee and the third highest mountain east of the Mississippi. From the observation tower on a clear day, you can see 7 different states. I did this in the morning and the fog still wasn't fully burned off, so I would recommend doing this in the afternoon on a sunny day for better visibility. The Appalachian Trail goes right through here. It runs from Maine to Georgia. At 2,198 miles, is the longest hiking-only trail in the world. 4 miles was just added in 2023. It is at its highest point here at Clingmans Dome. On the way back to Gatlinburg, you can see how the AlumCave parking area has filled up. So you want to get there early if doing that trail. Now to the other drive-through nature trail. From the Space Needle, you take Airport Road, formerly Historic Nature Trail Road. Just a mile up the hill is the entrance to Roaring Fork Nature Trail. Next to it is the Twin Creeks Trail, which is considered an easy 4.5-mile round-trip trail through the woods with a preserved 1880s cabin. You'll want to pick up a little guide at the entrance to Roaring Fork.
Yeah, so you just put $1 in here, and then you pull it, and this just kind of gives you an idea of what all, and this numbered, so the nature trail is numbered, and you can look in the booklet and it'll tell you what you're seeing at that number.
This loop motor trail is a little over 5 miles long. You maybe want to allow a couple of hours so that you can stop at some of the scenic and historic pullouts. While you don't need a UTV for these drive-through nature trails, it is nice feeling the fresh mountain breeze in an open-air vehicle. Ain't that right, Bella? Plus, more convenient to pull off and park, especially here at Roaring Fork. This road is a little more narrower than Cades Cove. It's a whole different type of scenery, more forests, mountain creeks, waterfalls, and hiking trails. Like a scene out of a Thomas Kincaid painting.
The first part, we're going all uphill, and now we're kind of in like the actual Roaring Fork watershed. It's going to be following the old road that the community used back before the formation of the park. So.
Dogs are allowed on the motor trail, but cannot be inside the historical buildings or the hiking trails. The Trillium Gap Trails here, which leads to Mount LeConte, almost 14 miles round trip, climbs 3,400 feet, considered a strenuous trail, but you can take it to Grotto Falls, which is just a 2.8 mile round trip. You'll see buildings of some of Gatlinburg's early settlers from the 1800s.
It's a granny hole. So they would put this here and it would always face like the corn crib or wherever they kept like the stuff that they were harvesting. And that way Granny, if she saw like some sort of wild animal out there trying to get in the corn, she could stick the shotgun out, bam!
There's Place of 1,000 Drips, where several narrow falls combine into a larger fall. At the end is Ely's Mill, with a shop where you can buy some locally made crafts. And there's cabins that you can rent from $125 to $165 a night. Now ready for some ziplining, we head to Pigeon Forge city limits to Smoky Mtn Ziplines, which is just under a couple of miles from the strip on Mill Creek Road. It's not far from our cabin we featured in the Gatlinburg video. Reservations are required here. You are taken to the ziplines via a military truck. They do a 7-line canopy tour with lines 800 feet long and 150 feet high. There's a rappelling tower as well. It's $85 plus tax. There's a $5 discount for seniors and military. Less than a mile away is Big Rock Dude Ranch, which has horse rides. Wanted to feature them too, but couldn't get a hold of the owner, even though I stopped by on 3 different occasions. Now on Wears Valley Road, just a couple of miles down from Goats on the Roof that we showed in last week's Pigeon Forge video, we arrive at Red Jasper Beer Gdn. This was formerly Friendly Falls, but it wasn't so friendly. Had many negative reviews, like wearing a shirt with the American flag wasn't welcome. Well, that's all changed. It's under new ownership now, and they truly do welcome everyone. There is no charge if you just want to come and enjoy the waterfalls, but they have a really good selection of locally brewed craft beers, IPAs, ice cream, as well as a food truck. In the evening, colorful lights give a festive atmosphere. There's also a sheltered play area with cornhole and other games, a large picnic area on the river, and a gem mine where the water comes straight from the creek. Truly a family-friendly place with great owners now. It's located about 5 miles from the island in Pigeon Forge. You definitely want to check it out. Wears Valley is just on the other side of the mountains from the sinks that we showed earlier, and between Pigeon Forge and Townsend. It provides a great contrast to the busyness of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge with beautiful Appalachian farmlands and scenic views. There's the Hillbilly Restaurant with down-home comfort food in a barn-like structure with vintage farm and auto decor. And next to Hillbilly's Restaurant is the Tennessee Shine Company's original distillery location. They have a large selection of creative flavors of moonshine. There are free moonshine and wine tastings, also bourbon for $5. You can take some selfies with the vintage autos out front. Further down Wears Valley Road is the Heavenly Roast with deluxe lattes, espressos, pastries, and 8 flavors of sugar-free lattes. And a mile and a half from that is the Harper Bros Mtn, where you find the Hawk Skylift. At the front, a rustic vintage general store. In the back, a stable for horseback rides. They have either a 15 to 20 minute beginner ride or an hour advanced horseback ride. The hour ride is $60 for adults and $40 for children 5 through 12. Or do a horseback skylift combo, $80 for adults, $65 for children. The skylift by itself is $25 for adults, $15 for children 4 through 12. I think this might be the best skylift in the area. A round trip takes 30 minutes, so lots of time to enjoy the scenic views. Smoky Mtn Family, whom this footage is from, did a video comparing the 5 skylifts in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, which I recommend checking out. At the top is the Hawk's Nest, where you can play checkers, cornhole, or just sit back in rocking chairs and enjoy the amazing view. We continue west on Wears Valley Road through the scenic hills into Townsend. Townsend is part of the Cades Cove, another beautiful valley at the border of the national park. The name comes from the Cherokee and means peaceful green place. Just 4 miles from Harper Bros Mtn is the pet-friendly Smoky Mtn River Rat tubing. Next to it is also the pet-friendly Big Meadow Family Campground with RV sites overlooking the river that are $80 a day.
What is the point of getting doing tubing if you're not going to get a little wet?
I will. Later.
For the tubing, if you book the day of, it is $25 for adults or $20 for children 6 through 12, and $17 children 3 to 5. Now, if you book at least a day in advance, those rates are $5 cheaper. For dogs, it is $17, and they get their own tube. There's food trucks here, as well as lockers on site to keep your valuables. River Rat has 2 different areas for tubing, as well as rafting in Hartford that we'll show in a bit. This is the main area, Outpost A. It's the dog-friendly area and has much lighter rapids. They also have Outpost B a mile away near the KOA with bigger rapids. Kids must be at least 6 on Outpost B. A shuttle takes you back to the parking area.
Gatlinburg!
We turn left on Lamar Alexander Parkway, which leads back into the National Park and the Townsend Wye. Halfway between River Rat Tubing and the Townsend Wye that we showed earlier is a KOA. This is a really nice KOA. I stayed here on a previous trip and really liked it. It's nestled up on the Little River. As well as full hookup pull-through RV sites, they also have a good selection of cabins. Some pretty deluxe ones with full linens, restrooms. There's a modern playground, a basketball court. And the Townsend Bike Trail, which is 5 miles long, runs through here. You can rent bikes here. We now head back north on Wears Valley Road as we head towards Hartford, but have a stop on the way to show you some animals. We pass Pigeon Forge. Just the drives going from place to place here are scenic. We arrive at the Smoky Mtn Deer Farm, located about 11 miles north of Pigeon Forge, or 18 miles north of downtown Gatlinburg. The petting zoo is $16 for adults and $10 for kids ages 3 through 12, and $1 for 1 and 2 year olds. They also have horse rides, which you need to make a reservation for. They are $27 for a 30-minute ride or $33 for an hour ride, and pony rides for $10. For the petting zoo, they really give you good access to a lot of animals, much more than you typically get with other zoos. There's lots of deers, camels,
See if he wants to do an interview.
Hey, so how's your life like at the deer farm? The horse the only one's out.
and miniature horses who get a little impatient about being fed. There's zebras, elk, pigs, emus, and goats. Was really impressed. Kids will absolutely love touching, walking with, and feeding the animals. Certainly worth the 20-minute drive from Pigeon Forge, or 30-minute drive from Gatlinburg. And the staff was very friendly. Just really good people who own and operate this zoo. Now it's time to head to Hartford for some whitewater rafting. We take Newport Highway. It's another scenic drive across the farmlands of Sevier County, around the front country of the Smokies. Then I-40 south to Hartford, as it runs along the Pigeon River. Hartford is the easternmost city in Tennessee, and is where all the rafting is. It's about 45 minutes from Gatlinburg. Rafting here is seasonal from May to September. There's several rafting companies. There's Smoky Mtn Outdoors with a 6.5 mile upper river or a 5.5 mile lower river trip. They also have a combo zipline and rafting. The ziplining is at Climbworks in Gatlinburg. Next door is the Pigeon River Campground with rustic cabins right on the river. There's rafting in the Smokies. They have packages that also include zipline or a ropes course, and both are all right here in Hartford. For rafting, zip, and ropes, it's $98 for Lower Pigeon River or $105 for Upper Pigeon River. And there's Big Creek Expeditions, with packages that include ziplining and horseback rides that are both in Pigeon Forge. A 3-hour rafting trip is $47. We are going to take you on a Smoky Mtn River Rat rafting trip, thanks to the Smoky Mtn Family.
I feel like we're going right towards Big Friendly Rock.
You can do the lower or upper Pigeon River for $39, or the extreme upper river for $59 plus tax, or do 2 trips for $72. There are group discounts as well, and if you want to do the tubing, there's a $3 discount for tubing if you do the rafting.
It's exhilarating. You're going over the rapids. I think that there's an adventure to it, but there's also like a peace to it. There's times where you get to, in the When the water gets deeper and it slows down, you're able to take it all in, and you're looking around, you're just surrounded by mountains. It's tranquil out there at times, and so I really love both of those aspects of it.
On our way back to Gatlinburg, we take the Foothills Pkwy. This is only a 5.6 mile section, and the southern section begins in Wares Valley, which goes for 34 miles to the south. But in between these two sections, there is 33 miles where construction has not even begun. It's estimated to be another 20 years before it's complete. So we have to jump on US 321. As we travel through the small town of Cosby. Just a couple more campgrounds to show you. There's the Gatlinburg East KOA, located 17 miles from downtown Gatlinburg in Cosby. There are full hookups, pull-through RV sites, and everything from basic cabins to deluxe cabins with bathrooms and kitchenettes. There's a basketball court, badminton and volleyball court, disc golf, horseshoes, a playground, and a pool. The Laurel Springs Dirt Road that leads to the Madron Bald Trail. Another 3 miles down 321 is the Arrow Creek Campground. They have cabins and stationary RV cabins that you can book through booking.com or Vrbo. Another nice play area with sand volleyball court and golf cart rentals available. Along with the beauty of the Smokies, there's something deeper that draws us to this land. Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the president who dedicated Great Smoky Mountain National Park in 1940, said, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste it, to experience it to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences."
What do you think about this, bro?
It took us an hour to blow this thing up.
The things we do for these kids, man. This is always a real special place, and some of my best childhood memories took place here. And I still remember when vacations would come to an end, and it'd be time to go home, being so sad on the way back home. And then even later on, when we were coming down here for vacation, bringing the kids down, I would look in the rear view and see Mount LeConte, and I'd feel like I was leaving home. So it was always kind of, like a dream of mine as a child to be here and, to come here and never leave.
Oh, so what's the name of the raft?
Gerald.
That's Gerald right there. Now that we moved here, I get to watch like my kids living my dream, and having them have that kind of childhood. It's just, I don't know, there's not even, I'm at a loss for words about how that feels inside. Coming down here and selling our house, and it was all on a whim, man. And but I kind of always feel like when the spirit kind of moves you in a certain direction, it's effortless almost, and it was coming down here. To have the kids play in this river that, that was one of my dreams, being down here and being able to be playing in this river whenever I want to, or going into the park 5 minutes from the house. It's just, ever since I was a kid, they always said it in a way of like getting the smoke in your eyes. And definitely at a very early age, I got the smoke in my eyes, 100%.
So you see, you might be in the mountains, but be aware, the mountains might be in you. Whether it's Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Wares Valley, Hartford, or this whole region of eastern Tennessee, you can feel that spirit, that drive, that zest for God-given freedom. As the day began, the blue smoke sets back over the mountains. Shakanohe. I'd love to hear your experiences here. Well, we still have one very big video coming in the Smokies series as we travel to the North Carolina side of the mountains, to Bryson City, Cherokee, and Maggie Valley. We are Tampa Aerial Media. We film travel promos across the USA. For stock footage, or if you would like to hire us to film your city, region, or resort, contact us at info@tampaaerialmedia.com. And I'd recommend, as well as subscribing to us, to subscribe to the Smoky Mtn Family to stay current on all the happenings around this area. Lord willing, we plan to be doing other videos with them in the future.
Hey, let's sail away. Let's pretend we're bored
From Eastern Tennessee, I wish blessings to you, wherever you may be.
It's a good day to begin.